Welcome back to Dinar Community, where we've spent years tracking the truths that others either ignored, dismissed, or couldn't see coming. What once seemed like distant speculation is now unfolding in real time, and those who stayed the course, who listened, who prepared, who watched the signs, are now standing at the doorstep of financial transformation. The Iraqi dinar, long mocked and misunderstood, has now erupted onto the global financial stage in ways no one can deny. This isn't about hype anymore. This is about confirmation, public and private, institutional and sovereign. A complete economic realignment is underway, and the world is paying attention. Let's take a moment to breathe that in. Because for years, we've seen the ridicule. We've seen the headlines call this a fantasy. We've watched the so-called experts scoff at the idea that Iraq, a war-torn nation rebuilding from the ashes, could ever re-emerge as a powerful financial player. And yet, here we are. Banking systems around the world are now recalibrating their exchange infrastructure to reflect a newly revalued dinar. Financial institutions in New York, London, Dubai, Frankfurt, Singapore, and beyond have quietly updated their internal ledgers. Select currency holders, carefully vetted, are now being ushered through private redemption appointments, some receiving confirmation of rates that far surpass previous expectations. We're hearing verified reports, credible, institutional, and secure, of live rates ranging anywhere between $3.77 to $6.20 per IQD, depending on location, access tier, and negotiated contract status. That's not just a revaluation. That's a seismic recalibration of wealth distribution. This is something that hasn't just been months in the making, it's been decades. Whispers in boardrooms, classified economic forecasts, geopolitical negotiations, oil-backed trade agreements, and regional stabilization efforts, all quietly laying the foundation for what we're witnessing right now. And now, the world is waking up. The IMF, World Bank, and BIS have all triggered internal rate recognition protocols, signaling to institutional clients that the dinar is now a tradable asset at new values. Global central banks have begun adjusting Forex positions, and hedge funds that once avoided the IQD altogether are now quietly establishing currency reserves. Major retail banks, Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, have launched secure back-end systems to begin facilitating in-branch redemption appointments. Tiered procedures are now live. The system is no longer being tested. It's active. And here's the reality that many still don't want to face. Iraq's revaluation isn't just about Iraq. It's about the global reset. The IQD is simply the first domino in a chain reaction that could restructure the balance of economic power for the next generation. With oil production surging, digital infrastructure expanding, foreign investment pouring in, and regional diplomacy solidifying, Iraq is not just becoming relevant, it's becoming essential. A strategically placed, resource-rich nation with sovereign control over its currency, backed by gold reserves and newly structured economic policies. This is what happens when a nation refuses to be held back by the limitations others imposed. And now, we're seeing the ripple effect. Foreign exchange blackout windows have occurred multiple times in recent weeks. Trading platforms like Bloomberg, Refinitiv, and Swift gateways have shown signs of delayed rate updates, something that insiders recognize as part of the synchronized rollout process. These are the mechanisms used to protect the market while new rates are activated, tested, and released strategically to partner institutions. This is not chaos, it's orchestration. And the fact that we're even discussing this today, publicly and openly, is historic in itself. For too long, this subject was relegated to forums, rumors, and speculation. But that time is over. We've entered the age of confirmation. Private groups across the globe, long rumored to be preparing for exchange, are now being contacted. Redemption centers are operating under full confidentiality, with some appointments happening under non-disclosure agreements to prevent rate leaks. Yet, the confirmations continue to build. This is happening. Now, let's shift gears to something just as important, your next steps. If you hold IQD, this is not the moment to chase hype. It's the time to follow structure. Organized redemption protocols are in place. You need to be extremely cautious of fraud, misinformation, and opportunists looking to exploit confusion during this critical phase. Do not respond to unsolicited calls. Do not send currency to unverified locations. Only operate through confirmed banking appointments with documentation and legal oversight. Engage with professionals, financial advisors, CPAs, and attorneys who understand this transition and who can help you preserve, grow, and protect your newly realized wealth. The world post-RV will look very different. Taxes, international banking laws, capital gains implications, trust structures, these are not optional considerations. They are necessary. This isn't lottery money. This is sovereign currency that has just undergone global recognition. And while some will walk away wealthy, others will squander this once-in-a-lifetime moment through poor planning. Don't let that be your story. Remember, wealth without strategy is temporary. You've been patient. You've endured the wait, the doubt, the roller coaster of intel drops and delays. Now it's time to move with purpose. The finish line is not just about cashing in, it's about building legacy. For Iraq, this is a rebirth. For the world, it's a reckoning. The impact of the revalued dinar goes far beyond borders. Developing nations are now examining their own economic structures. Central banks are rebalancing their reserves. Trade partnerships across Asia, Africa, and South America are shifting, with Iraq emerging as a serious player in new trade corridors and energy deals. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar marks the beginning of a multi-phase reset, one where currency values better reflect actual resource backing, national stability, and strategic global partnerships. And as the dust settles, many will ask, how did I not see this coming? But you did. You saw the clues, the breadcrumbs, the undercurrents. You listened not to the noise, but to the signals buried beneath it. And now, those signals are becoming the new global financial rhythm. The IQD revaluation is here. It's confirmed, it's real, and it's only the beginning. So, what now? Now is the time to finalize your strategy. Consult your team, safeguard your information, vet your contacts, double-check everything. If your bank has not yet updated its platform, wait. If your bank is already engaged, proceed with precision. There will be a short window where the process moves fast, then slows again. Be ready for both. And keep this in mind. Not everyone will go public about what they've received. Some will stay silent. Others may never talk at all due to NDAs. But their silence is not absence. It's confirmation in disguise. The most important thing is not how loud the news gets, but how real the outcomes are. And now, the outcomes are undeniable. Welcome to the new global economy. This is Dinar Community, and the world just changed.